My name is Nolan Oswald Dennis. I'm an artist based in Johannesburg, South Africa, and this is Throwers at Gasworks. The title comes from a collection of images that I've been building over the last few years of people basically throwing rocks. The act of throwing is something that I'm interested in. It's a particularly human act, but it's also an act that imparts a certain energy and intentionality, politics and history into otherwise seemingly mundane objects. So there are a few works in the show that have been kind of assembled under this umbrella of throwers. First, we could think about Isivivane, which is an older, ongoing work consisting of an archive of geology samples collected from geological museums and geology departments in South Africa, but also in other places around the world, and a 3D printer which reproduces these rocks. Isivivane is a Zulu word that is used to refer to a pile of rocks that marks a significant place in the landscape, a spiritual site, a historical site, but it's also a pile of rocks that is not built by a single person, but built by many people over time. The installation kind of plays on this dual meaning of the word, both by trying to produce a pile of rocks over the course of the exhibition, but also asking Gasworks to participate in the production of this pile. Another work in the show is called Further Notes for a Planet, 24-. So the work consists of a field of hooks associated with a collection of words. I call them world words, and a set of strings. The strings are beaded with excerpts from poems by the South African poet Gasworks. And so you hook one end of the string on a world and another end on another world, and this act creates a relation which is, in my imagination, a kind of transformative relation. In the second room of the exhibition are two works interconnected. The first is a very large wallpaper work, which consists of a diagram and some annotations, called Recurse for a Late Planet, Lush. And the work is an ongoing kind of research analytical framework that I've been using to try to draw together gestures, like I'd call them like rocky gestures, at two scales. One, the scale of ourselves, struggling bodies, protesting bodies, human beings, and on the other end of the scale are asteroids, which are called in the kind of scientific language, small solar system bodies. The show is named after this archive that I've been building over a few years, which I've been calling Throwers, or an archive of throwers. It's images of people throwing rocks. The act of throwing stones, for me, is kind of the last act of protest, when there are no more avenues. And this act of throwing stones is both extremely humble, but also deeply intentional, and can connect this act of throwing stones, which is kind of what the work is trying to do, to a history of stone throwing. Stone throwing as a kind of symbol for justice, a symbol of the weak in the face of the overwhelmingly strong, David and Goliath, but also protests against apartheid. There's an entire kind of political history of stone throwing. And the work is trying to think about these stone throwers as cosmic agents, as world-changing agents, in the same way that small solar system bodies are thought of.